Welcome to the Black on the Block podcast, where we're all about preserving the black family. Everything is pro-black, but don't get it twisted. We respect everyone, but we love our people first.
What up, y'all? This is your soul sister, Kae Maree, and we are Black on the Block.
This your favorite guy, Coach Scrap, and you listen to Black on the Block podcast.
This is your humble servant, Pops, and you are listening to Black on the Block.
Hey, y'all. This your girl, Neka B. Welcome to Black on the Block.
Say, open the door, let me in. Teach a song, preach a sin. Turn the cheek, let it slide. Give 5 on the black hand side.
Welcome to another episode of Black on the Block. It's always a pleasure to be on the board and the staff with the other three compadres, Kae Maree, Neka B, and Pops. How y'all doing this morning?
Great.
Doing well.
Well, first of all, before we get started, I do want to address this young lady, and they ordered the wrong car. I want to address that young lady. I've been thinking long and hard this week about whether or not she should be able to stay on the block or not after that. Honestly, I feel like that's her fault.
There should definitely be a suspension.
Because me personally, I've never ordered a Lyft. I've never ordered an Uber. I've been in them. I've just never been the one to order it. I imagine they let you know what type of vehicle come and pick you up.
Correct.
And she needs to be looking in the Tahoes, Yukons.
I'm just saying that was ridiculous, y'all.
Nah, that's crazy.
That was ridiculous.
Then when I saw the young lady, I said, "Man, damn."
What'd you say? What'd you say, Scrap?
Hey. I mean, what are we doing?
They fired him, didn't they? Is that right?
Did they? No, I thought that there was a suit on the company as a whole, but I didn't know he'd get.
I thought I read that. Now I could be wrong. I thought I read that.
So when they do this lawsuit and go to court or whatever, she goes to court with them. I mean, at some point, the judge got to be honest.
Case closed. Was she stepping?
Yeah, I mean, this is an open and shut case, right? I mean, what
you would think so, logically. We're not living in logical times, though. So
right.
Well, you right about that, nigga.
Yeah, bust both of the doors open for the make an entrance.
Yeah, I can say, and just coming from a previous supervisor perspective, there were times I had to order like special chairs for people of a certain size, like because the regular office chairs only go up to 250 pounds for y'all who don't know, right? So anybody above that, you have to, and the chairs cost like starting at $500 after that. So I'm $500 in on one employee for one chair, and even those sometimes don't hold up.
Are you making the assumption that the staff person is over 250?
So here, you can't ask, of course, right? But yeah, But here's the thing: if I had an incident where somebody fell one time in a store, and that's how we had to, research, and so she said that we didn't provide the correct accommodations for her, being of her size, right? And so then I had to start kind of visually assessing. And make a determination on if we, and so I just ordered, honestly, I just ended up going through for every store and having at least one chair in every store. Right. But even yeah.
So you put your name on the chair?
No, but we did have an incident with one real petite girl used to always want to get in the big chair. It wasn't a problem until we had somebody of a larger stature who came in, and you can't just say, so I had to have a private conversation. The other, and these are small offices that I was running. So yeah.
Yeah. So if you see that big double XL chair in your cubicle the next morning, you have been rated at about 270.
And so there is a double-edged sword to that, because you might get saying that it's a lot.
Right. It's what I'm saying. Miss Neka B, why is there an XL chair in my cubicle?
Right.
You be like, well, as far as I can tell, you were clearly over 250, man.
And you can hear them chairs snap, crackle, and pop, just like the cereal, like sometimes. And that's true. I mean, and you don't even have to, honestly, some times they did that even not at 250, right? But certainly over 250, you get them chairs were hurting.
I ain't gonna lie, me personally, I'm letting you go.
You gotta go.
Definitely getting sued.
No, I ain't especially if I live in the at-will state, I'm letting you go.
Oh.
We ain't about to run
Scrap, you ain't gonna explain.
Listen, they get sued too. So yeah, I was definitely in the at-will state. So
hey man, listen. We ain't about to be bad about these damn chairs.
That come out of my budget, which is my bonus.
Yeah, small company. We can't afford it.
Yeah.
Hey, send them damn chairs back. Bring them
Had me calling around the other districts, seeing if they had chairs.
They probably on the phone saying, they probably got some big ass folks over there.
That's so wrong.
And now they wrong.
I was waiting on Kae Maree to chime in. Kae Maree, what you feel about this conversation about?
It makes me uncomfortable.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
She would be one of the petite ones in the big chairs. I had to have a talk with.
I would not.
You know what I mean? And she's sitting there and she just gonna irritate somebody just by walking through.
Right.
You know, they're gonna be like, she done been prancing up and down this aisle 45 times a day. Why should you coming past my cube?
Not breathing hard or nothing.
You know what I mean? Waist beads on. Talking about how long she walked on the treadmill and hers got these settings.
I jumped up at 5 o'clock this morning. Yeah.
Drinking bone broth in it, you know what I'm saying?
No, them folks got them 10 minutes.
They hate her.
Yeah, they hate her. Miss Bone broth.
They gonna make an uncomfortable work environment for her.
Right,
you know what I'm saying?
You already
You said you got a little experience in that.
It bothered me though, because there was another situation for like black people though, you know what I'm saying, to be in the tabloids in the news, and to me that shit's stupid. You wrong. You should.
It sounds like she was. She knew better.
Yeah, for sure. You should have been on a single passenger Greyhound.
Should we fault the community? Because it's like sometimes we'll see somebody that's clearly, you know, well, we need to talk with them about being healthier, but nobody's ever been able to say it to them because we don't want to hurt their feelings, or you want to, you know, we'll say everything looks good. Girl, you live in your truth. Man, what them labs say.
Sometimes in our community, we enable unhealthy behaviors, and we should love ourselves, you know, at any size. However, we should always be working to be better, be our healthiest selves, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
You are correct in that. I will say to that point, Kae Maree, grocery stores are not on every block in our communities, but liquor stores are, hair stores. Yes. So yes, we need to do better. I think the environment around us is created to, in any way, to, you know, for resistance against that, for sure. It definitely doesn't make it easy, but you're right. Absolutely.
That's true. And, you know, I do know, you know, and I know that doesn't apply to everyone, but I do know some people who have access to these grocery stores, and they are not. Those of us who have access, we need to do better. And
look out, Kae Maree.
You know, I'm gonna tell you something. One thing about Kae Maree is that she is honestly, she cares and she means well, and she really, you know, she's been for real. But she know how to talk about somebody without talking about it.
So she's mastered the art.
Yeah, she know how to get up in that thing without
she a wordsmith. You know what I'm saying? She's a poet now. She's a poet.
He said she know many they got access to the grocery store.
They still go down the wrong aisle. They stay off the fresh produce.
Yeah, they love processed. You know what I mean?
It's so
Chips,
convenient.
Cheetos.
You remember one year you and a couple of other friends were my accountability partners. We were on this health journey. I have access, and I also have access to some good food trucks. So you texted me one day and you were like, how are you doing on your food journey? And I said, you know what? I just ordered a cheeseburger and some fried okra for the food truck. You were like, God damn, Kim.
I think it was new food truck now. I had some bacon on that burger too, I think. What, man?
Double stack.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah, I say she gonna work it off though. So.
Nah, for sure.
Oh man, she know that treadmill now. She know that, She know the specs on it. You know what I mean? She can set it up where it play music. She can watch TV while she on it.
Yeah, she gonna do a thing. There's one thing about it, man. I don't care if it take her all day the next day. She getting it off in 24 hours.
So I'll say this. I just sent y'all a picture, y'all to the group. Just a screenshot or whatever. So it says 500-pound rapper. I don't know if she's a rapper or not.
Hold on now.
And I don't know if she's 500 pounds. But if that's true, it's alleged. We're not saying they are, right? If that's true, that means she's 100.
What she trying to get in?
It was I don't know. It was a compact car for sure. But listen, that means she's 100 pounds away from my 600-pound life. If that's true, you know what I'm saying? When you watch that show, they're immobile almost, you know. So yeah, that's a lot.
How is her motor still running?
Now she wrong for that.
Yeah, she wrong. See, I couldn't be an Uber driver. I would just cuss her ass out.
I know you gonna cuss him out.
And she at did he pick her up at the airport?
I don't know where she was coming from.
Because she'd have to get 2 seats at the airport. I mean, she's probably a person that is lawsuit happy.
She definitely should have ordered a XL vehicle.
No, she's wrong for that.
I can tell you, listen, I have definitely had my struggles with weight for sure. Definitely never that high. But at some point you have to take control of your life and decide what measures you need to take to be healthy. And
I think as a whole, I think, this is a group of Black people with the things that's afforded to us, like you said, liquor stores everywhere. They say more Zuzus and Wham Whams at the corner store than anything. I think we all struggle with something at some point, you know what I'm saying? But you got to buckle down.
Yeah.
She buckled up.
Scrap, you said she didn't buckle down, she buckled up.
She buckled up, bro. Like that, damn. Man, that's crazy. But yeah, we can by the end of this episode, man, we can get together and see what we want to do as far as punishment. And I want to say I'm blaming her. All is on her. And that's my thing. She never got to come back to the block if you ask me.
Well, I feel for the young man.
Me too.
Job. I do.
Yeah, but you would have felt even worse for this person if you had heard how empathetic he was trying to be. This dude was, because he knew he was being filmed, and he was trying his best not to say, "You're too large, ma'am. It's simply that my car is too small." He was.
He should have let him try to get in there. He should have let him try to squeeze in there and film that.
Right, but then when he need new shocks, Lyft not paying for that. She not paying for that.
That's dude livelihood. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he can't afford to be out for 2 or 3 days while they were replacing the suspension on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, shifting gears real quick. I definitely don't want to spend no time on it that we don't have to. But how y'all feel about the trying to take all our Hispanics away? How y'all feel about that?
I mean, we knew it was coming, right? Is anybody shocked or surprised?
Well, he certainly campaigned on it, and one thing that I will say, a lot of people might feel one way or another about the current president, but they cannot say that he does not do what he says he's going to do. If he says something, he typically does the thing that he said he was going to do. So like Neka B said, should anyone be surprised? Now, I think that the human side of us, it doesn't matter what side of the political aisle you fall on, when you see children crying or people crying, the human side of you will feel bad for it. So, I'm just glad that I'm not in a position where I have to be the one to execute certain orders or actions that will just hurt people and tear them down. But in a society, you have to have rules.
Well, I'll say this. I haven't had a chance. I've had a really busy week. I'm in transition right now, really busy couple of weeks. So I haven't had a chance to look at and research reliable sources, so able to really give an informed comment on it. I want to make sure that in following through with his campaign promises that he's done these things properly. I've been told that he is not, but I'm not going to just go by what someone else says. So I got to do my research before I make a comment on it. Yeah. And I think that this is good for a longer conversation because this is a serious matter. So this is definitely due for a longer conversation.
Yeah, I agree with that for sure. And I can say gotta be careful what you vote for. He got a lot of the Hispanic vote. And I'm not Hispanic and I can't necessarily speak on their behalf. I can tell you for sure if I was and if there was any chance of anybody in my immediate or extended family or my community as a whole being treated as such, he could have never gotten my vote. I mean, he could have never gotten mine anyway. But regardless, had I been Hispanic, they were boastful, proud, and even to the point before the election where I saw one video where somebody brought up the fact that he's like, oh no, it'll only be criminals that he's deporting. And you believe that, again, there's a level of just being naive where, so again, you're getting what you voted for. I'm 92%. I'm sitting back and sipping tea 4 years.
Now that I would say that's me too.
And that is the fact that folks are getting what they voted for. And I think that that's what folks would be shocked by. The fact that I don't think he ever parsed words when he said who he would be attempting to deport, when there was a conversation about how in the world would you have the resources to mass deport. That's when they said that criminals will be prioritized. But he said, if we get someone that has a criminal charge and there happen to be other undocumented people that they find also, they're getting a whole lot of them. Right. So they never said that we're going to we just going to get these dudes and we're going to give the other folks a pass, because how the conversation came up is because in sanctuary cities, there were the mayors that were saying they were going to prevent folks from coming into the jails to get those guys with the heavy charges. So they said, well, this is going to force us to go out into the community. And if we go out into the community and we're looking for someone with a criminal charge, but there happens to be 4 other people in the house with them that are also undocumented, we're going to get all 4 or 5. So they were trying to put pressure on the mayors to say, let us go into the jails where they're already housed. It'll be a lot cleaner that way. You know what I mean? We can just actually get them, because they were saying they were going to get them first. That's just where they were starting.
Yeah, and so I understand that. What I'm saying is, regardless, from a Hispanic American or not, Hispanic period, person, heritage, to me, there's just a heightened level of delusion prior to going into the election if you thought for a second that you were going to be untouched by this, and that when we put things on the scale of life, that if that didn't outweigh something for you, almost anything for you, then you get what you get, and that's just it. So I'll agree with you. I'll say this, Pops, on one point. He definitely does not mince words. I don't think that he's even sophisticated enough to do that. So no, he does not mince words for sure.
But that's one thing that I'll push back on about his sophistication. Mm-hmm. A person that, and I'll say this too, this was years ago. I also thought that he may have lacked sophistication. That was my thoughts before. But I have to look at the evidence of it. After all these years, and I've had numerous conversations with people, and I would say either this guy is, there are 3 options. Either he's extremely lucky, which I probably doubt that because it's been too long, or we'll just make it 2, or he's actually very sophisticated because he's not dealing with peons. He's dealing with major systems. You have to look at how many people didn't want him to be in there in the first place. We're talking about his own party. When he talked about draining the swamp, you have to look at what is the swamp. There are people that are unelected. These are people that work in the Pentagon, people that work at the DOJ. He's cleaning house this second term. He threw his shoulder out of socket signing executive orders, because what he's doing, he's making sweeping changes. And of course, even people that voted for him don't agree with everything that he's doing. I talked to them. They don't agree with everything he's doing, but on those big issues, he's releasing the files of Dr. King and about the assassination. He's declassifying the files of the JFK assassination and the RFK assassination. Some of his cabinet, Tulsi Gabbard, was a former Democrat. RFK father was a prominent Democrat. Sometimes you live, you learn.
You correct in the fact that he is releasing the files. If anyone, I'm not gonna just, anyone who thinks that that is going to be to any benefit of Black people in the Black community, again, I'm very doubtful. I think that there's an underlying reason for that, and we will see. I think that when you say he's either incredibly lucky, I think that we're undermining the power, number one, of just white men in this country and how unbelievably lucky they can be in a country that was created for them. Again, in just this most simple examples in our everyday life, how very far some of them get with absolutely no credentials, it's just the good old boy system, right? And not even average, okay? So when you take what he was given and able to catapult it to what he was, I just, again, my opinions on him are different. To me, even when I hear him speak, there's no level of sophistication at all. So he is connecting intentionally with people with who we are, who we've created now in this world of non-thinkers and people who you have to say very simple sentences to in order for them to understand. So I get it. We'll see. Like I said, 92%.
I would also, Neka B, make him brilliant. Why would you speak in a sophisticated manner to the masses that might not understand you?
Anybody who thinks beyond Donald Trump is brilliant, I can't even argue with. So we on different levels.
Right. And I would say listen to him for a 2.5-hour podcast and you could see it.
I can't.
Instead of a soundbite. Of course.
I can't.
That's the point. Most people can't. But
and the fact that the culture's behavior that somebody could, I just can't. Like, I just can't. And so again, respectfully, we'll agree to disagree and keep it moving. But no.
And let me say this too. When you talk about things being for white men, first of all, there's nobody else in the fight. Who are the people that are trying to convict him? White men. He's a white man, so it's two big dogs.
No. When I say white men, sir, when I say white men, I mean from the inception of this country. So, and so I'll leave my final statements on it will be this. My grandma auntie used to say, when you dig a grave for somebody else, watch it because you also digging a grave for yourself. I'm sure we all heard that in some capacity or some way. Since the inception of this country, America has been digging a grave for other people, right? If you go back to Native Americans, if you go back to indigenous people of color who were already here prior to slavery, if you go back to the slavery and how we were done, to Jim Crow, all that, grave digging. What they didn't realize, unfortunately, is they were also digging a grave for itself. What we will see is the complete dismantling of this country.
Yeah, now that part I think I will agree with. The country will be dismantled, but it won't be for the reasons that a lot of people think. When there are masses of people that will be affected. This country is governed by a select few, the elite. Most people don't have power. And so when you said that this country, we own a ship. All of us up in this country. So when it burns, we all burn.
I absolutely know that.
I hope that someone will bring back the focus on families, which is important. Bring back men, women, children in a unit working together, families loving each other, respecting one another, not thinking that material is superior, and that caring for folks. Once upon a time, there wasn't a big thing such as nursing homes because folks cared for each other in the home. Now we're out for self. What can we get? I hope that we can get back to that. Because if we don't, will it matter if we burn? Because a lot of people are going to be by themselves anyway. They won't have anybody at the end because people don't care about family. Everybody trying to chase the bag. But who have you taught to love and respect and honor you? Even if you don't have a pot to piss in, will you come check on me? Will you give me my last drink of water? So when we think about what's important is family, love, compassion, service. Those are the things that are important, but we get caught up in the hoopla, about stuff we have no control over. And I'll tell you this, if I thought somebody didn't like me, I wouldn't go begging them to do anything for me. You'll be like the Native Americans when they were cold and they got those blankets.
Yeah.
What?
Actually,
Wait, what's that again?
I said, if there's a person, okay, someone doesn't like me, they want to hurt me, hold me down, oppress me, I would never ask them for anything and think that they actually wanted to help me, lest you might end up like Native Americans when they were cold and they got those blankets, but what were they getting? Smallpox. The people that don't like you, they'll act, oh, come here. We don't want you to be cold. We're actually going to help you. Look at history. When the folks that don't like you will not help you. Now they might frame it as help, but is it actually help?
I agree on that point. I agree with that one.
Yeah. So moving forward, thing is, I think one of those situations is which I didn't want to go down to Trump.
Well, you know what's coming. And more to come.
I don't know.
And guess what? I love to be here. That's what I do.
Well, what I was just trying to allude to is just how you feel about the people.
And you can't touch one without the other. Yeah, you can't. Yeah, you can't touch one without the other for sure. For sure.
I mean, you definitely can't. About it.
No,
you can't.
The reason why I say that because I got neighbors. My daughter go to school with Hispanics, and just how you feel about that.
Yeah, but if I get an ass whooping, you ask me how I feel about the ass whooping I gotta talk about the person who whooped my ass. Like, so we might as well just I appreciate the question, Coach.
I ain't want to talk about the person who whooped my ass because she was in another room. Speaking of that woman, I don't feel weird. And I leave it alone.
That's right.
Now, in our culture, we often point the finger to others, and I understand. As a people, we've been through a whole lot. I get it. I do. Still on today's, you look at the news, you look at the tabloids, you look at social media every day. I don't think it's a day that goes past that you can't find a black man being shot, a black woman being shot, or a rape, or some being done against somebody. At what point do we band together and say enough is enough? Or at what point do we band together and say, man, I'm tired of toting guns to shoot my brother. I'm tired of toting guns to shoot my sister. Because that's ultimately what black people say, well, I need to protect my house. Ultimately, these guns that we buy are getting used on each other. The power that we do have get used against each other. And, me personally, and I piss a lot of people off a lot, because when Trump conversations come up, I don't give a fuck about dude. I really don't. We got so much stuff as a culture and as a people that we got to fix internally before anybody even listens to what the fuck we talking about. And Trump don't give a damn to what we think about him, whether we like him or not, because he's sitting at the top of the hill and he see all the bullshit that go on amongst us. Even mentioning his name causes conflict between us. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if it's the music videos over the course of years that cause so much damage to ourselves. I don't know if it's I don't know. It's like I don't know. I don't know what it is. But what is it that y'all think can be done? And again, it's one of those things that shit gonna take a lot, because it took a lot to fuck it up. It took a lot for us to get here. So it's gonna take the same, a lot, or more to get it back right. So, I mean, what do y'all think where we can get as a people and where we at right now? How y'all feel about that?
I think one thing, Scrap, is awareness of what's going on. It's just like an alcoholic. You first got to, admit there's a major problem. So you figure out what the problem is, you identify it, and then you put a plan together to address it. And another thing, you ask, what can we do first? We're going to have to be patient, because even if we figured out what was going on and we set a plan in motion, it will be a multi-generational manifestation. It's nothing that can be done quickly, because we're a long way out of position. And even if you had a perfect message, you still have to have ears to receive that perfect message. And a lot of people can't even receive it. So my suggestion would be for every man to try to fix his own house. I say man because I'm a man. If you're a woman, let every woman fix her own house, meaning each person become a strong link in the chain of the community. I can't worry about the links down the street. Hell, I got to fix my link. And maybe I can be a light to other people and an example by how I walk, not how I talk. You got to fix your own house. So I would tell every man, get it together. Because see, when men are removed, it creates a void. And then things happen upstream of that. So I think if you put a good man and a good woman together, I think they will make good fruit. The Bible talks about a good tree produces good fruit. So if we start to produce good fruit, that would start the cycle of improving. But henceforward, good men have to do better. And as men do better, women will do better, children will do better, the community will be better, and we'll be better collectively. I think you mentioned it. Why would any other group, especially if they're a lot more powerful, why would they listen to a group and all it looks like a ball of chaos? Because you said if someone is perched up on a hill and they look down and just jokers just scrambling at the bottom. And then a couple of voices from there say, man, why don't y'all do this for us? It's like you shouldn't be surprised to hear chuckles. Man, first of all, y'all get it together down there. Then we'll think about helping because it looks like you all are doing so much damage to one another. You mentioned it before, the guns and brothers shooting brothers shooting sisters, sisters jumping on sisters, beating them to death.
I think there are a lot of, well, I know there's a lot of unresolved trauma and untreated mental health issues in our families and our communities. A lot of us are self-medicating, are just sitting in that turmoil. So we need to be more open to mental health treatment in our communities and find some good therapists. And unfortunately, those are hard to find nowadays. And we need to recognize when our needs are not being met, if and when we get into that therapy, and advocate for ourselves and be open most definitely to medication. We have a lot of undiagnosed people in our communities, and a lot of them are men who are head of households, who are untreated, who are not mentally stable, or who are dealing with some unresolved mental health issues, men and women. And if you're not mentally stable, you can't lead your households. A lot of us struggle with regulating our emotions. And if you can't regulate your emotions, you can't properly communicate with others. You can't resolve conflicts in a healthy manner. You can't be an example to anyone if you are not emotionally and mentally stable.
Help folks that might not know, Kae Maree, how might you distinguish a good therapist from one that is not a good therapist?
Your therapist should not be talking to you like they're your girlfriend or your homeboy. Your therapist should teach you coping skills, stress management techniques. They shouldn't tell you, you should be active in your treatment. You should be able to tell them what you need to work on. You all are partners in your treatment. You agree on what you need to work on. You should be able to ask questions. If you don't agree with something, they shouldn't shut you down. They should listen to you. And you have a right to fire your therapist and get another one within that agency if you want that. You have a right to your preferences. If you want someone of a certain race, religion, gender, or culture, you have a right to all of that.
Neka B, you got anything on that?
I think it goes, you got to go back, not my philosophy is you got to start with where the problem was created. I think you and Pop spoke to a point that I will agree with on if somebody's at the hill and looking down at the chaos, we're laughable to say the least. We're very, very insignificant in their world. But I think we fail to mention and recognize that many times the people at the top of the hill looking down at the chaos have been very involved in the creating of that chaos. They're also very involved when we attempt to organize, in the times that we have. History tells that as well, that they do anything they can, including because they know we are so weak and unorganized as a people. They solicit other people in the community to help dismantle and bring down whatever organization attempts that we are in progress that we're trying to make. So we can talk all day about internal issues, and we absolutely should, and we can talk about solutions, but we also have to remember that we did not create this ourselves. We also have to remember that those in power have a vested interest in keeping us in the state that we are. Off of that, and going to another topic, just community wise, I will agree with Pops. You got to be able to take care of your own house, man, woman, or otherwise, right? However, I'm a big advocate of stepping outside your household. And I'm speaking from experience. I'm not sitting on the soapbox telling you I did it at 15 years old. I wasn't grown. I didn't have children. And I stepped in a situation where somebody needed something. Okay. So it wasn't my responsibility, especially at 15 years old. And if I would have kept that, to me, selfish mentality of as long as I take care of my own, we're not living in this world alone. You have obligations outside of it. Right now, my children are grown. I don't got to do nothing for nobody, period. But I still do in the ways and capacities that I can. So if I have that mentality where I only take care of Kanika's house, then it helps in the chaos of it. If I'm scared to talk to, whoever walking down the street because, they look a little thuggish or they look suspect, or I'm scared to create relationships, then you're a part of the problem as well. You can't call yourself a leader in the community. To me, it's selfish, and we can talk all day, but if you're not out there doing the work, we can't have a real conversation. I don't take you seriously in any capacity.
Yeah, no,
you said a mouthful.
Agree with
Go
you.
on, Scrap.
I agree with everything you said, Neka B. Which I didn't bring it up. Don't mean like I said, I agree. I was just trying to get some,
feedback. I mean, I get it. I got strong opinions, so that's fine.
I definitely agree with what you're saying though, because I'm that person. I don't just take care of my house.
Well, this year you're taking a break, right?
No, giving people stuff. I ain't giving you shit.
What's giving is time and resources. It's just
Scrap, I'm going to go back to an important thing that you said, Neka B, about folks not understanding how we got here. Mm-hmm. And typically when things are trying to be organized and moved up the field, how they just seem to be broken up and how they'll use folks to infiltrate. Mm-hmm. That's why it's very important to declassify those files, mm-hmm. because then you'll see who was sending the folks. There's something called COINTELPRO, or the Counterintelligence Program. Mm-hmm. It's no wonder why things don't get off the ground. That's one of the reasons I advocate for doing. You have to. If you ever heard of guerrilla warfare, there's a reason. Sometimes you can't do it in big organizations because the people that already have the blueprint, they'll cut you off at the pass every time. W.E. Boyd talked about certain things. You have to almost have these separate tracks, but you have to really, really have finesse to outdo a master opponent, because there are folks that are masters of killing, they're masters of manipulation, they're masters of strategy. We don't hold a candle. We don't have the track record. Most of us are empathetic and compassionate. You can't put a compassionate person up against a person that's heart as black as sackcloth. So when you do things like you said, you do things to the limits that you can do them. You help the way you can help. So I think that sometimes if you build those strong links, when they try to manipulate us, they can't get through. They can't penetrate. It was so easy to get in there and infiltrate and divide. Harriet Tubman had a way that she did things because it was no different back then. When they put together a plan to do something, they had something called meritorious manumission. where they would report folks that were planning to do things. So sending folks in to break stuff up, they've been mastering this craft, and it's pretty perfected. They're not going to declassify everything, and I don't think that there's nothing left to declassify that they hadn't already destroyed that they didn't want out there. But I'm just happy that we're going to kind of pull the curtains back a little bit and see how this system works, because at least if people could see it, they would be under no illusion.
Let me ask you this. Do you think you'll be surprised by any of the information that you get once they're declassified?
Not me.
Okay, because I don't think I will either.
But I can tell you this, a lot of people will. There's going to be a lot of people surprised, because there are some people that think these big agencies are helpful. And I'm thinking, you all don't understand what happened with some of the leaders. They thinking what the narrative is what actually happened. And so when big powerful groups that collect intelligence, sometimes they'll say, well, we had this big commission, but we won't release the documents for 60 to 80 years. Why not?
Okay, so
I'm sorry, go on, Kae Maree.
Okay, so getting back to what we were talking about in regards to our communities, I wanted to speak to what Neka B had said before we run out of time in regards to reaching out or helping people outside of our households. I have what I call a village when I was growing up. When my family, when we were going through our thing, when my father was going through his personal struggles, the head of my household was going through his struggles. If it were not for people outside of my household, if it were not for my grandparents, my great-grandmother, my pastor and his family, my best friend, I'm not sure where I would be right now. Myself and my siblings, we were considered at-risk youth. Those people were very important support systems for me. And I'm almost certain if they had not stepped in, if I did not have those people outside of my household, I probably wouldn't have gone to college and probably wouldn't have the career and the life that I have right now. So it's very, very important. They didn't have to do that. And I'm so thankful for them. So it's very, very important that we do help people, like Neka B said, and reach out and help whatever we can do. I don't have kids, but I do what I can for the kids in my family, and I help people as much as I can.
I don't want anyone to misunderstand what I said. When I say you take care of your home, that is your priority. Charity starts at home. Don't skip a step. They call it the head of the house for a reason. So if I can't skip steps. I have to make sure that my own family is fed. My own things are tended to before I go outside. So you definitely want to help where you can, because actually being a good role model and being a light can lighten up a dark community. But just the mere fact of doing the right thing, saying the right thing, and sometimes you got to understand to stay in your lane. Some people can go and coach, t-ball, baseball, basketball, football. Some people are the voice that people call to when things are going wrong. So one thing that you have to do is be available. Your lane is your lane. Some people, when people are going through something, they'll take a plate through there. I saw that you were down, and we're going to bring some food because, sister, I know you were down. They'll just do it. Some people, their prayers, they pray for folks in the community. I'm telling you, the first thing to each man is to take care of the responsibilities he made. Then you go help. Don't skip steps. What I'm saying is you do the fundamental things first, but then you help as much as you can possibly help without overextending yourself. Because you overextend yourself, you speak about it often. Self-care. When you burn your candle too much, you're not any good to anyone. So in everything, you have balance. But to all men, I want to be clear. If you are a man in your house, you take care of your priorities first. And then you work with all the energy that you have left without overextending to help everyone you can in the best way that you can.
Hey, big shout out to all the men out here taking care of the priorities in the house. big shout out to all the villages that get together to help people out.
Right.
But I do want to repeat this, and I want people to know this. Don't call me for shit. January 1 came.
Sticking to that.
Man, it's not happening, man. It's not. I mean, I ain't got nothing for you.
Scrap, some called me and said, well, they said they couldn't call you directly, but they wanted to send the word through me. So I got a couple that wanted a couple of things.
Yeah. Look, put them on kick them out the block for that alone.
Is that permissible?
Yeah, they know better. But now I agree with everything 100%. And we're ended here. One of the biggest things about myself is that I've always prided myself on taking care of home, so I never had to get it right. You know, so therefore I've been able to extend myself to people in the community. I've been able to be somebody can call on, whether there's something, if you need some advice, you need to tell me something that you don't know how to tell somebody else. Whatever the case may be, or come to me to where I can see you to somebody else that can help you a little better than I can. You know what I'm saying? So, and it's been some financial things and that I had to, you know, and I ain't gonna call no names.
Let me hold something in.
Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. It's a good few out there that know who they is. Okay, we got your phone. But we definitely. I love today for the reason of I think the ball done got to moving on some different things. We definitely got to talk about some things. We definitely got to tackle in the future. And I think it's gonna be great these next couple of weeks with some episodes dropping. And we about to get on it. I know where we at right now, so we can get on it. And it's gonna be. And guys, remember, I don't care how tough the conversations may seem. I don't care how they may get. It's all love over here. Everybody got their own opinions. Everybody is individual thinkers of themselves.
That's right.
We ain't gonna agree on everything, and that's what makes it perfect. You know, with different individuals getting together and speaking what they speak. I like it. But it's been another great episode, Black on the Block podcast, and we out.
Bye, y'all.
Peace.
Take it easy. Take it easy.
I say, open the door and let me in. Teach your song, preach your sins. Turn the cheek, let it slide. Give 5 on the black hand side. The black hand side. Oh, black hand side. Black hand side. Oh, the black hand side.